the new engineering contracts. Okay. Then ICC, the infrastructure conditions of contract. Okay. Then we have what? These are the common types of international documents. FIDIC, JCT, NEC, ICC. When I take the FIDIC documents, there are various documents, different types of documents. These forms of contracts are used throughout the world, endorsed by many multilateral development banks, okay, such as World Bank. All multilateral banks have endorsed these versions, okay. FIDIC contracts are generally known by the color of their cover. Red book, yellow book, silver book, green, pink, gold, blue, white. What are these? Just for your knowledge. Green book is used for very cheap, small work, straightforward, quick or cheap project. Red book, employer design or a traditional projects, which is one of the commonly used documents of FIDIC. Then if employer design, then multilateral development banks. This red book is slightly changed and they have prepared pink book. Multilateral development banks harmonized edition. You can see that's why it's pink. Huh? They have taken the red book and changed it. That's why they have colored it in with pink. Right? Again, employer design work. Huh? Contractor is not responsible for design here. Then contractor design. The provision of plant and for building or engineering works on a design and basis. Plant, engineering works, yellow book, design and build. Then we have turnkey, silver book. Design, build, operate, gold book. Dredging and reclamation work, blue book. Selection of consultant. For that we use white book. Okay. These are the commonly used FIDIC books. Okay. Green book, red book, pink one, yellow, then silver, gold, blue and white. White for consultant selection. Then when it comes to FIDIC red book, this is the most commonly used book. Latest version 2099 and 2017. 1999 and 2017. I will add this to the slide and send you 2017 book. Latest editions. Now the most latest edition is 2017 book. Used for both building or civil engineering work. Right? Payment is made according to the bill of quantities. Right? So they follow the bill of quantities. So there should be a correct bill of quantities in this. The red book is administered by the engineer. Okay? Engineer is administering the work, a third party, rather than the contractor or employer. There is a third party, engineer to the contract, who is administering the project. Okay? Right? This is red book. Latest version is 2017 book. Then, what are the common SL standard, Sri Lanka standard forms of contracts? Okay, we have ICTAD SBD documents. As you all know, SIDA or ICTAD SBD documents. Okay, so generally we have 4 types of SIDA forms of contract. Standard bidding documents for procurement of work published by Institution for Construction Training and Development, ICTAD, earlier name, now it's SIDA. Right? There are 4 types. Standard bidding document, SBD 01, SBD 02, SBD 03, SBD 04. Right? So, What is SBD 01? Recommended for use on works contracts between 10 million Sri Lankan rupees to 100 million Sri Lankan rupees. Right? So, according to the project value, the selection of SBD will be done. SBD 01 is used for 10 million to 100 million, but may be used for works of higher values which are not of a complex nature. For example, if we have a housing project, one house construction cost is 50 million. Likewise, there are 4 houses. We can justify that the whatever complexity is 50 million per house, right? Even though it's more than 100 million repetitive work, we can go for SBD 01 by justifying it. Why? Cost of one house is 50. We have 4 houses, but complexity is 50 million. Therefore, for a 200 million project even, we go for SBD 01 with the justification. But general understanding is it is 10 to 100 million. Okay. This is used for remeasurement contract, separated remeasurement contract types. Then SBD 02, major works. Recommended for use on works contracts over 100 million, major projects. For contracts of a lesser value, which are of a complex nature. What is this? Say, for example, if it is a government project, you all know, availability of funds will decide the size of the project per year. Say this year we have 90 million. Next year we have 150 million. Total project value is 240. But this year we do our contract only for 90 million, construction of substructure of that project. What is the cost of substructure? 90 million, right? But it is less than 100 million, but it's part of a very complex building. Therefore, we can go for SBD 02, justifying the complexity of the work. But general understanding is SBD 02 is for over 100 million projects. If part of the work is done, that work is complex, but less than 100 million, for that instance, even we can use SBD 02. Again, used for remeasurement contracts. Then SBD 03. Recommended for use for work contracts up to 10 million. So, small ones, minor work. Okay? Over 10 million, major work. Then this is less up to 10 million. SBD 03 is for minor works. Again, for remeasurement contracts. Then last type of SBD document, SBD 04. Recommended to use for works contracts where contractor is responsible for design and construction, design and build contracts. SBD 04 is used for what? Design and build construction works.
Turnkey project, no?
Sorry?
It's a turnkey project.
Turnkey will be slightly different from design and build. Turnkey means you give it totally to the contractor, right? So you can read detail about design and build and turnkey, but design and build is slightly different to this. I will tell you the arrangement in this SBD 04. According to the Sri Lankan SBD 04, there is a consultant. That consultant will do the conceptual design only. Then with the conceptual design, we will go for tendering and select the design and build contractor. Then design and build contractor's responsibilities, do the detailed design according to the concept and do the construction work. Right? Then you will get a question. There is a design and build contractor and a consultant. That consultant's whatever fee will be very less. If normal contract consultant is going to get 0.5% of the project, 5% of the project, this consultant will get 1 or 2% only. Why conceptual design only? Why there should be a consultant to get the bids of design and build contractors? Then he will evaluate and select. Think about a design and build project. Are you willing to do all the design calculations for the bidding purpose? No. They will give us a certain level of details at the time of tendering. Then consultant will evaluate and select the contractor. Then he is going to do the structural calculations and all. Okay. These are the different types of SBDs available. SBD 01 for remeasurement, SBD 02 for again remeasurement, 3 for remeasurement, 4 for design and build construction. Anything you would like to ask? Anybody in the class? Any question? Anybody?
So, madam,
Yes.
under the design and construction, so
Design
the
and build,
contractor, the contractor may select one designer or someone, no, for the design.
He will join with a designer and come as one group to the client. Huh?
Okay.
Can you understand? Definitely they will do so, join with the consultant, right? But what they do is, they will come up with a design, but that design and construction party get together and come as a one party to the client.
As a one team, no?
One team. We don't evaluate those two separately. Yeah? And take one out and give the design to that party and give the construction to somebody else. We cannot do so. Huh?
Okay, got it.
Right. They are a team. Right. Anything else you would like? Yes.
Madam, what is measurement contract and remeasurement contract?
There are no measurement contracts actually. All are remeasurement contracts. I will tell you. I think separated system, Mr. Suranga Jayasena has explained. Some people use measurement contracts or remeasurement contract. What we do is at the time of whatever, first we go and meet the client, designers or the consultant. Then they get the client's requirement and then design the building, do the drawings. Then quantity surveyors will prepare the contract document, BOQ, and the other tender documents. Then drawings and the tender document, drawings, BOQ, everything will be part of the tender document, will be issued to prospective bidders, prospective contractors or the bidders. Then out of those bidders, what they do is they will fill the bid document and submit it. Consultant team will evaluate and select the suitable cheapest, not only cheapest, suitable cheapest bidder as the contractor. Then sign the contract. Who is going to sign the contract? Client and the contractor. Then what is going to happen? Those projects are on what? Remeasurement. We prepare a correct BOQ, but when we do the actual construction, right? We go to the site and measure and pay. But don't think that if there is a mistake in the BOQ, the quantity, BOQ quantity is given as 100. But when you go to the site and when you measure it, it will come to 200. Then are we paying 200? Not always. We have to look at the drawing as well. If design says 200, then we have to talk with the contractor. Why? Contractor is given the drawings as well. So remeasurement means when there is a variation or change to the drawing or specification or BOQ, we will go to the site and measure and pay. But it should be under reasonable grounds. Did you get what I told? Remeasurement? It's measurement contracts or remeasurement. Both the words are used. Are you okay?
Thank you, madam.
Right, welcome. And did Mr. Suranga Jayasen explain this? Right,
Yes, yes, madam.
right. Anything else you would like to ask? If it is a design and build project, we don't measure, remeasure and pay. It's at the beginning we agree. Why? Contractor is responsible for the drawings, design and construction. Therefore, we cannot do the remeasurement. Right. Anything else you would like to ask? Anybody in the class?
Excuse me, madam. This is regarding pink contract. Would
Yes.
you mind explaining about that? I didn't understand.
That is similar to Red Book, right? But there are some changes made to suit to the multilateral development banks. Did you get the point? It's same as Red Book, but there are different clauses, changes in the Pink Book to suit to the multilateral development banks conditions.
Which is for the funding projects like that, is it?
Yeah, that is why I said it's for, say, if you are doing a whatever World Bank funded project, they may ask you to use this book. Some donors will tell you, you should use this book, generally.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, right. Welcome. Anything else? Asad, anything you
Yes.
want to ask?
Yes, madam. For example, there is a force major event happen at the construction project. What is the solution for that?
It's a topic to talk for a day even, right? So how do you handle it? Force major, right? One
Yes.
option is you have to prepare a claim and go with that.
Okay.
Yeah. Force major, you have to prepare a claim, and force major, most of the force majors are whatever responsibility of client, but there are other exceptions as well.
Yeah, but
So-
both parties, we have to accept both parties.
Sometimes, but say for example, due to dengue epidemic, if there is a problem, then there will be some part with the client. But if it is a fault of contractor who is not whatever enforcing the guidelines given by the health authorities, then some part will come to the contractor as well. So you have to in detail evaluate it, generally.
Thank you, madam.
Yeah. Some part can be identified under variation as well, but most of the time it goes beyond a variation, most of the time. Anything else?
Okay, thanks, madam.
Welcome.
Madam, which
Anything
is the
else?
document for turnkey contracts in Sri Lanka?
We don't have any document turnkey contracts. What we do is we take this and amend it accordingly. But this is also this SBD4 is also not a good document. They are under whatever revision for this. They are doing a revision for this as well. There is no such document in Sri Lanka.
Thank you.
What SIDA says is, if there is no such document in Sri Lanka with that justification for a government project, even you can go for a FIDIC document as well. Right? Anything else? Right. Then I will talk about the contents of a tender document. What are the contents in a bid document which is prepared according to a standard form of contract? I am not going to tell which one. All these things are common parts. You have invitation for bid, instructions to bidders, then you have bidding data, then standard forms are there, then conditions of contract, form of bid, qualification information, schedules, specifications, drawings, bill of quantities, and other documents. invitation for bid, as I explained last week also. This is the thing which is published in newspapers. Hope you can see invitation for bid on my slide. What can you see now? What is visible for you?
Invitation bid.
Right, thank you. Invitation IFB. Okay, we will say what is the ministry, everything. As I mentioned last week also, it says approximately estimated to cost excluding that. We give the approximate estimate even, as well as we give the construction area as well as period as well. Very important. Then we talk about the CEDA grading, C3 or above. Then we talk about the annual, average annual volume. Then we talk about the liquid assets, as well as we talk about past experience. Then we mention from 8:30 to 4:30, bid documents can be obtained. Okay. Then we talk about the place for submission. And we talk about non-refundable fees. This is not bid bond. What is this non-refundable fee in a tender? Why we ask for a non-refundable fee? Anybody in the group, can you tell me why we ask for a non-refundable fee?
Cost for the documentation and tendering.
Yeah, cost of the documentation and tendering. Then we ask for a bid bond, right? Bids shall be accompanied by a bid security, right? Okay. So likewise, we tell the time and place for pre-bid meeting as well as time and place for the submission. So this is published in newspapers, or you send this as an invitation even for selected people. It depends. So this is one of the important parts in a bid document. Now, can you see my slides again?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Then we have instructions to bidders. Instructions to bidders shall contain all relevant information as provided in the procurement manual. Date, time, place for submission, number of copies, which document must be filled and signed, all these details are there. Then bidding data, clarifications on bill, general information in the instructions to bidders. More details or changes or additional details to the ITB, right? Then there are standard forms. These are given in the SBD documents, form of letter of acceptance. What should be the standard form? Form of agreement, form of performance security, form of advance payment, form of retention. Likewise, these are standard documents which are provided. These are given in SBD documents. Then we have the conditions of contract. This is the part which discusses or details the what? Set out the details of the agreement established between parties, rights, obligations of the parties. So each in the conditions of contract, there are a number of conditions. So you refer, when it comes to variations, you refer one of the words. When you come to insurance, we refer one clause. When it comes to bonds and guarantees, another clause. When extension of time, another clause. Monthly bills or IPC, some clause. Likewise, there are different clauses in conditions of contract, which will give the rights and obligations and duties of the parties. Then we have the form of bid, which is the legally binding part. Okay, very important document. Can you see the form of bid? Yes. So you have to give the whatever bid amount in letters, numbers and words both. But if there is a discrepancy, the amount given in words will prevail, right? Then you need to sign, authorized person should sign. Then there should be 2 witnesses for signing. So this is the legally binding part of the bill, right? The figure you are giving in whatever letters or words will govern, and it will be the legally binding figure. So please be careful about that. You have to sign the bill, authorized person of the company, then 2 witnesses should sign, and this amount should be there. Then only this will become legally binding, right? Then there are qualification information schedules and qualification information as well as schedules, which are there in the bid documents. Then we have one of the very important sections, specifications. So we have specs, details what the contractor is required to achieve, right? Traditionally, specification detail the standard of materials and workmanship. So when you do the construction, what documents are you going to see? BOQ, drawing, specification. What documents are you going to see when you do the practical construction in the site? What are out of those 3 documents? What are the documents you are going to see at the time of construction? Please tell me. Is it BOQ, is it drawing, or is it specification?
Drawing, madam.
Drawings, madam.
Drawing and specification both. Remember, specification also you are going to see. But BOQ, what is the purpose of the BOQ? Pricing purpose or the payment purpose only. For whatever construction, we are going to see the drawing and specification. That's why it says material and workmanship, right? So when it comes to specifications, there are 2 types of specifications, general specification and special specification. What do you mean by general specification? There are standard specifications given, published by CEDA. Specification for building works, specification for building works volume 2, then specifications for electrical, mechanical, water supply and sewerage, right? There are standard specifications. These are general specifications, right? You just name these in your tender document. Contractor must have copies which are bought from ICTAD or CEDA, right? We just give the reference in our bid document. Then special specification or its particular specification. What do you mean by special specification or particular specification? Anybody knows in the group can answer me? Special specification or particular works or any particular specification. What is this? Any idea?
Madam, minor details to do with the construction drawing.
No, these are not minor details. Most of the minor details are also there in this. If you want to delete something in general specification, this part is not applicable. That deletion can be done with the special specification. Then add a new thing, more detail, as you mentioned in one way. Adding more details to the general specification can be done with the special specification. Or any alteration can be done. So what is the purpose of special specification? Adding more clauses to the general specification, deleting a clause in the general specification, or altering specification clause with the use of special specification. What we do in a project is we attach these things. We cannot change general specification. In the general spec, it should be the standard document. With the use of special specification, we refer clause number S20 of specification of building works, volume 1. Delete this part, add this part, change this part, likewise. The special specification customizes the general specifications according to our project requirements. Okay, is it clear? Right? It's just like particular conditions of contract. So what we do is delete some specification clauses, add new clauses or change with the use of special one. But what we can do for general one is give the reference as it is. We cannot change these documents, change them or customize with the use of special specification. Right? Okay. Then drawings and supporting schedules should be complete enough to provide the contractor with a clear picture of the work he is being asked to price. At the time of tendering, at least we should give some basic drawings, plan, section, elevation, general arrangement drawings should be given. Okay? Right? So most of the time what we do is we issue copies or sometimes we keep a complete drawing set in the place of whatever consultant's office or client's office where bidders can come and see them. Okay? Drawings. Then bill of quantities. A detailed list of quantities of all the work and materials included in the project. What we do is we give a detailed description, unit, rate, unit, quantity, rate, amount. So detailed breakdown when we price at the end of the BOQ, we will get the total tender sum, contractors or bidders tender sum. Method of measurement is also given there, the way we prepare the bill of quantities, right? So I have a small question, right? So in the bill of quantities, it says you are supposed to have 10 split type air conditioners according to BOQ. But when you look at the drawing, it is 12 split type air conditioners. What will happen to those things when you are selected bidder and the contract and when you implement the work? What do you think about that? At the time of tendering, BOQ says 10 ACs. But in the drawing at the time of tendering, it says 12. But unfortunately, BOQ says 10. What will happen to the actual implementation time?
Drawing repair.
Yes, refer. What about the payment?
Variation.
Yeah.
If the bidder has not requested on that during the bidding period, they have to do the install 12 ACs with the amount they have mentioned in the BOQ. When it implementing, they cannot claim for more because it is already shown.
It's Piyumali, but Piyumali, there is a mistake in the quantity, no? Right?
Yes, madam. I think during the tender period,
generally, what we say is yes, they are supposed to do it, but they can raise it at the time of what? Pre-bid meeting. Yes, if they have not raised, but they have priced this as one air conditioner to this price. Then consultant, there is a problem with the consultant as well. We have to come to an agreement. But if it is a lump sum project, right? As you mentioned, if it is a lump sum project, what are we going to do? In the lump sum project, BOQ says 10, but drawing says 12. It's a lump sum. What will happen? As you mentioned, they must do 12 ACs to the given amount if it is a lump sum project. If it is a remeasurement, we can negotiate with consultant. Why? they have priced it only for one air conditioner in the document. Some consultants argue, but it should go as a variation. That is the fair way of handling. But in lump sum, it is not like that. Why? Lump sum figure will be given to the total construction of the work, covering all the specifications and drawings. If it is a remeasurement, there may be a change of the quantity, right? Even though one party can argue that in the bid document you sign or a form of tender, you mention as a contractor going through the drawing specifications and BOQ, this amount is a reasonable sum to cover the total work, even though there is a responsibility with consultant as well. Did you get it when you have a BOQ for a remeasurement contract and a lump sum contract? It's acting in two different ways. Remember that, please. So, two different ways. Why? Lump sum, you are giving a total figure. BOQ will just give you a breakdown only. But remeasurement, so there is a whatever provision that if there is a change of quantity, there is a provision to change of quantity there. Right? Anything else you would like to highlight about this BOQ? Any other question? Anything?
Madam, yeah, if there's a discrepancy in the materials mentioned in the BOQ and the drawings, and also according to the order proceedings in the contract document, if the BOQ comes first, then what can we do?
For the construction, BOQ will not come first, no?
Drawing
Meaning a
come first.
remeasurement contract.
But in some contract agreements, BOQ, I have seen that BOQ comes first, then after specification.
I have not seen such whatever things. But generally, the drawing specification BOQ will go down. Then you have to stick to the BOQ. Then it will be a variation. Why? BOQ is in the list, top item in the list. Therefore, you have to adhere to the BOQ then. Right? All of us do a mistake. There is a pre-bid meeting to question all these things. But unfortunately, we do not do so. And the only worry is if there is a mistake in the BOQ, there is a problem with the consultant as well. So we have to think about that as well, even though we argue that it's a responsibility of contractor. As professionals, we have done a mistake in BOQ. Can you understand? But in lump sum project, we always tell total lump sum responsibility is given to the contractor. Contractor should be very careful with the lump sum projects. Right? Anything else? Right. Then there are schedule of works. Sometimes no BOQ, but schedule of rates without quantities. BOQ format we use, but no quantities. Rates are taken. Right? List the work comprising the contract under appropriate headings. Tenderers may be required to price the schedule. Okay? Then quantity risk will be transferred to whom? Transferred to the drawing and spec. Bidder must see it as well. But rates are taken. So we do not stick to the what? If it is a lump sum project, if there is a schedule of rate, it's high risk to the contractor. If it is a remeasurement contract on schedule of rates, it's less risk to the contractor. Why? Quantities will be measured and paid. Right? Can you understand that? Any question you would like to raise? Right. Other parts of tender documents, form of bid security, form of bid securing declaration. There are things. If you are giving the bid document, we have to follow this standard given by the bidding document. Then bid security declaration also needs to be given. Then pre-bid meetings, as we mentioned. What is a pre-bid meeting? Anybody in the group? Can you tell me, please, what is a pre-bid meeting? Pre-bid meeting. Anybody in the group? Pre-bid meeting. What is it? A pre-bid meeting.
Madam, that's to calling before calling the meeting, all contractors will call upon to the office and explaining the in and outs of the bidding house going to bid and the contract price, any tender. Now they have earlier collected the drawings, specification, everything. If they have any detail unclear area, they can ask before bidding.
Yeah. What we do is, in the construction contracts, we issue tender documents or bid documents. It includes all the formal conditions of contract, invitation for bid, drawing, specification, BOQ. It is issued. Then we let them to study it and price it for a certain period of time, say 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Then we call for a meeting generally at the site, pre-bid meeting. Then what do is we show them the site, as well as you mentioned, we detail them about the whatever the project. Then we give a chance for bidders to ask or come up with their questions. If a bidder identifies that the whatever the quantity, even in the BOQ, when the quantity given in the order, quantity in the slab, in the drawing is different, they can raise questions. As well as if consultant identifies his mistakes during this period, even he can issue. So pre-bid meeting is very useful. I must tell you an example. When the Kandalama project was going on, pre-bid meeting was very useful for bidders. At that time, there were no proper roads to carry material. Then only they were able to price their preliminary bills properly. I have a very bad experience again. So, in the University of Moratuwa Project Consultants Unit, we were doing a project in Ayurveda Hospital in it's somewhere near to Homagama, right? So we had to do whatever landscaping work, external works, landscaping work. There were some internal roads, there were some paving works, fences, some planting trees, doing some benches, footpaths, etc. So I was preparing the BOQ. It was not a very big project. I had to prepare it. It came to, I think, 65 million, right? It was nearly 5-6 years ago. 6 years ago, 60 million was my estimate as the consultant QS, right? Then we call for bids and there were 6 bidders. 6 bidders have taken the bid documents. And we call them for a pre-bid meeting. I knew that it is very important to have a pre-bid meeting. Why? It's external work, landscaping and all. They must visit the site and see the difficulty. Unfortunately, out of 6 bidders, 5 bidders came to the pre-bid meeting. And we were going all over the site. It was nearly 25-30 acres. So 25, we were going here and there explaining everything. And we were telling them the difficulty. Unfortunately, according to our whatever guidelines, a person who did not come to the pre-bid meeting can even bid. So we got all 6 bids. Who was the lowest? The person who did not attend the pre-bid meeting. My bid was 65, my tender sum. His bid was 50 million, 15 million lower to the pre-tender estimate. According to the government procedure, we were questioning, sending queries, everything he answered. We had to, award the contract to that bidder. What had happened at the end of the day? It was a real mess. Why? He has priced unrealistically low without seeing the whatever context, difficulty of the work. So every time poor consultant, myself, had problems. Why? So many variations and so many troubles from the contract. Therefore, pre-bid meeting is very important. That is what I wanted to tell you. You must go to the site and see the difficulty. When we discuss things in the pre-bid meeting, all the things are written and distributed among all the bidders who are not in the pre-bid meeting, even distributed. But when you go to the site and see the difficulty, nobody can take photos and say about the difficulty, right? That was just discussed, and we were going here and there in the site, and they were identifying the entrance locations and the material, whatever transport to different locations, etc. Therefore, it's very important to have a pre-bid meeting. All the amendments done to the bid document should be sent as addendums to all the bidders in writing. It's very important. So these are the contents of a bid document when it comes to a design and build document, which is using SBD 04. Again, invitation for bid is there, instructions to bidders are there, bidding data, conditions of contract, contract data, standard forms, form of bid, form of design, technical proposal, form of price proposal. There are two proposals. If we are satisfied with design proposal only, we open the price proposal, right? Two proposals, two envelopes. Design proposal, price proposal. Then scope of work or client's requirement, very important in a design and build project, unless otherwise we will be in trouble. You all should know that client's requirement is very important. Why? We don't have that much of detail. Then in addition to that, we may provide conceptual drawings, right? Scope of the work, general requirements, those clients' requirement, both are coming under client's requirement. So those are generic information, as well as we need to provide conceptual drawings as well. There may be particular specific requirements for the client. Those are also provided. Those 3 bullet points, scope of work, general requirement, particular requirement, all will come under client's requirement, which is one of the most important parts in a design and build document. So this will give our requirement drawings, not detailed drawings, conceptual drawings. Then there may be particular requirements. Say, for example, we had to design a building in the university, and it was done according to the SBD 04. So we had to give how many classroom, capacity of each classroom, okay? Then how many computer labs, capacity of each computer lab, how many drawing rooms, capacity of each drawing room and size of drawing board, okay? For computer labs, what type of cable requirement, then office space, then how many washrooms, which are for students, which are for office, then how many lobby areas, all were specifically given with the conceptual drawing. Then general specification was there, particular specification was there, then price schedule was there for them to price, right? So price schedule is just like a schedule of rates. No quantities. It's coming with the descriptions, a breakdown, and it gives the rate column only. So you can see when you do a tender according to SBD 04, this client requirement section is very important. Then what is the job of the bidder? Do a detailed design, price it, and come to the bidding. But they don't do very detailed design. They do develop it up to a certain extent and come. Then what we do is we evaluate it. Right? So first we see the design technical proposal. If we are so okay with that, then we go for price proposal. Then out of the shortlisted people, we open the price proposal and then select the cheapest out of them. Right? So anything you would like to ask about these SBD 02 bidding documents or tender documents? Any question, anything you would like to ask about these?
Madam, excuse me.
Yes.
Madam, what the procedure if we get a one bidder, one tender submitted at the tender opening time? What the procedure we have to follow? We have to re-tender it, or we can open that under minor procurement or major
Yeah,
procurement?
we can open if one. Why? If you have given sufficient whatever publicity, say if you have given a newspaper advertisement, then you can open and see whatever do the tendering for that. That is allowed in the government sector. But sometimes if we feel that that bidder is not that much suitable, then we have to write and do re-tendering. It will be a huge cost.
Yeah, but at sometimes when we need that 2 or 3 competitors, can minor procurement or major procurement committee chairman decide that?
Yeah, they decide, but one tender, even there are situations at University of Moratu, one tender, even we opened and did the evaluation. They can decide it. But by looking at the whatever the quality without opening, even you know that you have not whatever received sufficient number. This is a competitive one, then at least you can whatever retender, but retender means you have to give more publicity, and anyhow you should try to have more bids next time. It would be again challenging.
Challenge, yes, madam.
Yeah. So there are situations like that.
Yeah.
So we had this design and build steel building. You can see when you come to the university, there are 2 design and build projects which constructed the steel buildings. So we had to do a research and find suitable 5 bidders and get the approval from the ministry to go for a selected tendering in a government institution. But unfortunately, when we send the 5 names to the ministry, they have removed 2 names and put some other 2 names in the list. Right? So then we got a bid, or we unfortunately selected one of them to the construction being the lowest. So client was in trouble. But we selected 5 bidders after doing a very big research and talking to people and doing preparing a criteria table as well. There are situations like that. So ministries will go whatever beyond their whatever limits and sometimes influence even. But as professionals, we must try our best to minimize them.
Thank you, madam.
Welcome. Anything else you would like to ask?
Madam, in this design and build contract, you have told us 3 categories what the client should give: scope of work, general requirements, and the particular requirement.
Yes.
Now, if we design a lecture room, do we need to provide details or link or some specifications from architectural journal universally accepted?
Actually, this, as I mentioned earlier, this SBD 04 has a small consultant which is playing a smaller whatever scope compared to the normal consultant in a remeasurement. So we have to have a consultant here. In that consultancy team, there will be a structural engineer, architect, and a QS at least. So we are the people being whatever. In our university also, I was the person who prepared the design and build bid document, but unfortunately, we cannot do our projects. I prepared it on honorary basis, but we selected State Engineering Corporation as the consultant for this SBD 04 work even. There is a consultant. They play a minor role compared to other pre-measurement projects. So therefore, there are architectural and engineering and QS input in the bid document. Unless otherwise, a general layman or client cannot give all these things. Did I tell you what you want? Then we give size of whatever. That's why I told conceptual drawings are given. Conceptual drawings, right? So our concept should be there. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
There should be a structural engineer as well, no? And a QS. QS is going to prepare the document. And that price schedule is prepared by the QS. Unless otherwise, there will be so many items which are not there in the price schedule, which will come as variations later, huh? When we introduce new things. So therefore, we have to prepare a good price schedule. So we must give the conceptual design, not the detailed design. But bidders can come up with changes to that conceptual design. That's why we evaluate this design and technical proposal first. Anything else you would like to ask? Any other question?
Excuse me, madam.
Yes.
In the design and build contracts, employer side, in which extent they have to prepare the cost estimate?
We have to come. This is not a detailed cost estimate, but you all know that there should be a limited budget, no? Then with the use of price schedule, we using other estimating method other than the detailed BOQ method, we prepare an estimate. Unless otherwise, we cannot proceed with this, no? And in a government project, they will not allow us more than 10% variation. So we have to have a good, whatever, correct estimate for this as well.
Okay, madam.
And we must help our client to plan, say a private client even, we must help the client to have his finance plan. No? Therefore, it should be an accurate estimate. Anything else? Any other question you would like to ask? Any other question? Right? Since from other slides even, we have finished the first part. Therefore, any question, anything you would like to ask? Right? So we will take a break and start the other part. Right? So you will be given 15 minutes break from now. Okay? Right?
No.
We'll stop for the break. Then I'll come after 15 minutes. Okay? I'll start by 3:05.